Hello everyone, this is Sajid Latif Khan and you are watching my channel Learning for All, and today I will talk about silent letters. Silent letters are letters that do not have correspondence with sounds when a word is spoken, but these silent letters are always create a sort of ambiguity and confusion for the readers of English words. किसी भी वर्ड में साइलेंट वॉल्स या साइलेंट कॉन्सोनेंट होते हैं। साइलेंट लेटर्स से हमें होमोफोन्स को डिफरेंशिएट करने में मदद मिलती है। साइलेंट लेटर्स से हमें इस वर्ड के ओरिजिन का भी पता चलता है। साइलेंट लेटर्स दरअसल में डायक्रिटिक लेटर्स होते हैं, यानी ऐसे लेटर्स जिनको प्रोनाउंस तो नहीं किया जाता लेकिन ये सिलेबल की प्रोनंसिएशन को तब्दील कर देते हैं। Sometimes these silent letters are confusing for students, but if they know the rules of silent letters, they can easily understand the position of these letters in the word. The rules can help them to pronounce the words correctly. Now let's try to know some important rules for silent letters. Silent B. Rule number 1. The letter B is usually not pronounced after M at the end of a word. For example, comb, bomb, thumb, climb, tomb, crumb, and lamp. Rule number 2. B is usually not pronounced before the letter T. For example, doubt, doubtful, subtle, and debt. Silent C. Rule number 1. The letter C is usually not pronounced in the combination of SC. For example, scissors, ascent, fascinate, and muscle. Rule number 2. C is usually mute before the letters K and Q. For example, lock, block, pack, acknowledge, aqua, acquit, and acquiesce. Rule 1. The letter D is silent when it appears before the letters N and G. For example, Wednesday, cage, pledge, and grudge. Rule number 2. D is not pronounced in the following common words: Wednesday, handsome, handkerchief, and sandwich. Silent E. Rule 1. If the letter E comes at the end of a word, it is generally not pronounced. For example, for, table, before, write, give, and hide. If E occurs before the letter D in the second and third form of the verb, E may sometimes not to be pronounced. For example, bored, fixed, smuggled, begged. Silent G. Rule 1. The G letter is not pronounced when it comes before N in a word. For example, design, foreign, sign, Nash, align. But there are some exceptions like magnet, igneous, cognitive, and signature. Silent GH. GH is not pronounced when it comes after a vowel in a word. For example, high, light, thought, throw, and alight. Rules to exceptions. GH letters is pronounced separately in compound words. As you can see in the following words, that exceptions are generally compound words. For example, doghouse, big head, and foghorn. Rule 3. Except examples from Rule 1, GH is sometimes pronounced like F or F. Consider the words below: draft, cuff, laugh, and tough. Silent H. Rule 1. The letter H is usually silent when it appears after W. For example, why, what, when, whether, and where. Rule 2. Sometimes the letter H is not silent after W. Consider the word below: whose, whosoever, who, whoever, and whole. Rule number 3. H is mute at the beginning of many words. Remember to use the article an with unvoiced H. For example, hour, honest, honor, and ear. Silent K. The letter K is always silent when it precedes the letter N in a word. For example, no, knock, knife, night, and knowledge. Silent L. The letter L is usually not pronounced after the vowel A, O, and U. For example, calf, half, palm, would, should, could, fork, and york. Silent N. The letter N is not pronounced when it comes after M at the end of a word. For example, column, dam, solemn, and autumn. Silent P. The letter P is not pronounced at the beginning of many words using the combination of PS, PT, and PN. For example, psalm, psephology, pneumonia, pneumatic. Silent PH. PH is sometimes pronounced like F. Philosophy, paragraph, elephant, and telephone. Silent S. The letter S is not pronounced before L in the following words: isle, island, isle, and islet. The letter T is not pronounced in the following common English words: castle, Christmas, fasten, listen, often, whistle, thistle, bustle, hasten, soften, rappel, gourmet, and ballet. Silent U. The letter U is not pronounced when it comes after G and before a vowel in a word. For example, guide, guest, guard, and guess. Silent W. The letter W is not pronounced at the beginning of word when it is before the letter R. For example, right, rest, wrong, rack, and wrap. W is silent in the following words. For example, who, whose, whole, whom, whole, whoever, answer, sort, and to.